You wake to the clang of iron and the smell of rusted chains. The straw mat beneath you is soaked through, not with water, but with the sweat of the man who died in this bunk 3 days ago. His scent still clings to the woven reeds. The air is warm and dry, but not clean. You taste blood in the back of your throat, though you haven't been in combat. Not yet. Your wrists ache. You've slept in shackles again. Not because you're dangerous, but because you're a prisoner of war, stripped of name, country, and dignity. Now you're property of the Lannister, the owner of this ludus, this gladiator training school just outside the walls of Capua. Outside your cell, you hear the early grunts of men already at work. Somewhere, a wooden sword crashes against a shield. Someone screams, someone laughs, someone throws up. The guards do not wake you with kindness. They slam a cudgel against the iron bars and bark in Latin, too fast for you to understand. But you've learned what it means. Get up now. You are not a gladiator yet, just meat. But if you survive today, you'll be one step closer to the arena and one step closer to freedom. The courtyard is already baking in the heat. Sunlight bounces off white limestone walls, off helmets, off polished bronze armor you're not allowed to touch. Your training tunic, stiff with old sweat and blood, scratches your skin like sandpaper. Around you, 24 men stretch and squat beneath the eye of Doctore, a former champion turned drill master. He's older now, but still terrifying, with one blind eye and a leather whip always coiled at his belt. You join the line. Today's warm-up is brutal. You run in circles, barefoot on gravel. You drop to do push-ups on knuckles that already bleed. You practice rolls and recoveries again and again until you land properly or land on your face. No water, not yet. "Fortitudo!" he shouts. "Strength! Again!" You glance at the others. There's Andronicus, the tall Thracian who once rode horses for a king. Now he coughs blood into the dust. There's Caius, the Roman who volunteered for the arena after losing his inheritance. There's Otho, the boy no older than 15, who cries in his sleep every night and says nothing during the day. And then there's you. Your muscles burn, your lungs heave, but you don't stop, because you've learned what happens to those who fall behind. When the sun hangs high and the heat becomes unbearable, you're granted a break. It's not mercy, it's strategy. Overworked men collapse too easily. The Lannister needs survivors, not corpses. Lunch is served beneath a stone archway, a clay bowl of watery beet soup and a chunk of black bread so tough it might break your teeth. You eat it anyway. You eat everything, because hunger is constant here. You sit on the dusty ground beside Andronicus. He chews slowly, eyes narrowed against the sun. "Back home," he says, "we gave bread to the horses, not men." You say nothing, because you no longer remember the food from home. You remember the fires, the smoke, the ropes around your wrists, the ship, the auction block. You are a man turned animal, but even animals fight when cornered. Afternoon drills mean weapons. You are handed a rudis, a wooden practice sword heavier than steel. It forces your muscles to work harder, to remember the movements even when your body protests. Today's lesson is the more mellow style. Broad sword, heavy shield. You spar with Otto. He shakes. You hesitate. The Doctore yells, "Strike like you mean it, or he will kill you!" So you do. You strike Otto hard across the chest. He gasps, stumbles back. His eyes fill with tears, but he nods, because he would have done the same. It's the rule here: kill in practice or die in performance. Blood pours from a broken lip. You taste your own sweat, grit, and the iron scent of future violence. You switch to net and trident next, learning to entangle, to thrust, to drag a man down. Every style you learn increases your chances of survival. The night cage and the song of bones. Nightfall arrives like a velvet curtain. The torches in the corridor flicker to life. You're marched back to the cells, cramped stone closets just large enough for a body to curl into. Your feet throb, your stomach growls, but your mind spins faster than sleep can catch it. Some nights the guards beat the slow ones. Other nights they take one man away and he never returns. Rumors swirl about private matches for noble guests. You curl up on the straw. The man next to you snores like a dying ox. Someone moans in a language you don't know. But there's something else. A voice, low and quiet, singing a lullaby. You can't tell where it comes from. Maybe Otto, maybe someone from the next cell. But the words are not Roman. They're not cruel. They speak of stars, rivers, and mothers. And for a brief moment, you remember who you were. You rise before dawn. Today there's a lesson not in combat, but in pain. The Doctore strips off his tunic. His back is a map of old scars, welts, and broken flesh. He tells you how he once stood in the arena, how he killed a man he loved because the crowd demanded it, how his freedom was bought not with victory, but with obedience. This is your future. You may win, you may live, but the blood stays with you. Otto whispers later, "What if we run?" You don't answer, because there is nowhere to go. The next day, everything changes. The lanista gathers the trainees, announces a munus, a public spectacle. One of you will fight a seasoned opponent, a real duel, to the death. Survive, he says, and you win the rudis, your freedom. All eyes fall on you. They've chosen you. And your opponent? A man called the Leopard, a Gaul, 6 feet tall, muscles like rope. He's killed 12 men, and he wants his 13th to be you. The arena roars. The sand beneath your feet is hotter than fire. The crowd chants. You cannot hear their words, only their hunger. They want blood. They want you. You raise your shield, grip your gladius tight. The gate creaks. The leopard enters. He smiles, not cruelly, not kindly, just knowingly, as if he's already seen your death. The fight begins. You dodge the first swing, but your arm goes numb from the second. He is faster, stronger. You retreat, then charge, then fall. But you rise, again and again, until he missteps. You strike. The blade pierces flesh. The crowd erupts. The leopard falls. You collapse beside him, panting, trembling. His blood mixes with yours. He reaches for you, not to strike, but to hold your wrist. Win, he breathes. Live. Then he dies. You are handed the rudis, a wooden sword, symbol of your freedom, but it feels heavier than iron. You walk out of the arena, past the corpses, past the cheers, past the men still in chains. You are free, the price of survival, but not whole. Years later, you sit beneath a fig tree. Children play with wooden swords. The sun is gentle, and you remember that one day, the sweat, the pain, the song in the dark, the Gaul's last breath, the smile of the doctore, the bread that tasted like ash. You remember the lesson. You wouldn't last a day, but somehow you did.